I feel like this entire casting process has just been full of so much drama and rumors and speculation, but the Survivor 50 cast is officially finally here and we're ready to talk about it. This cast is definitely controversial and definitely polarizing for more than a few reasons, but we'll get to all of that in this video. Today, I'm just going to be going over the entire cast season by season and just giving a few light predictions here and there on how I think everyone will do. So obviously, there is going to be a spoiler alert for previous seasons of Survivor, and also full disclosure, I personally have not watched every single season of Survivor, so there's definitely going to be some cast members that I'm more familiar with than others. One final thing before we dive into this list, I'm going to ask if you could hit that subscribe button below just so you can stay tuned with your Survivor coverage as we continue through 49 and eventually 50. I talk about other reality shows other than Survivor here on my channel too, and it's always a fun time over here, so make sure you're subscribed. Now, let's get into it. So I'm just going to start with the more recent seasons and then work my way back. So first, from season 48, we have Kyle, Kamilla, and Joe. Now, this was the first point of controversy and drama within this cast list because, as we know, season 48 has just finished wrapping up and a lot of people really weren't that big of fans. A lot of people thought that the gameplay and the cast itself was pretty dull, and yes, I am one of those people too. I think the main issue was just that a lot of people were playing very passively and they didn't really seem to have a lot of fight in themselves. And if I'm being honest, 48 is probably my least favorite season from the new era, but still, with all of that being said, I am very excited for Kamilla to be able to come back. I didn't like how it felt like she was kind of giving away her game to Kyle towards the end. And really, if she would have been able to stick it out, it sounds like she could have gotten the votes to win. So I am excited to see her, but Joe and Kyle, no shade to them, I'm just not really that excited for. Even though I did think Kyle was a really good player and all of that, he literally just won. Like, he literally just received $1 million within the past couple weeks. So I don't really know what the big rush is in letting him return back so quickly. Like, clearly these people are not going to let him get to the end and win again twice in a row. Like, that's not happening. I think Joe is probably the most obvious pick from this season, even though I didn't really find him to be particularly entertaining or strategic. It was very clear from his edit that he was a production favorite. You know, and Joe is fine and everything like that, but he just wasn't that unique or special of a personality for me to have to see him back so quickly. I'd much rather it be Say, you know? So yeah, right off the bat, it's just not really the best look that we have 3 people from the season we literally just saw when there are 48 amazing seasons to choose from. Continuing on with season 46, we're also going to see Charlie, Tiffany, and Q all reunited on the island again. Now, even though this is very stacked and it is in some ways unfair to have 3 people all from the same cast coming back together again, I still can't lie. I am very excited for these picks because season 46 has been my favorite season from this new era so far, like by far. And I know he's controversial, but I am super happy to see Q coming back to the island because not only was Q my favorite character in his season, he is probably my favorite character in the new era as a whole. And not only is he my favorite character in this new era, Q is probably like one of my top 5 Survivor players ever. I don't care. I don't care that he's a hot mess. I don't care that he's a crash out. I don't care. I love it. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. I don't think he's a great player, but he's just so entertaining and he has so many good quotables. Like, how can you not remember Q?
I can't find you in hide and seek. I can't find you in this game.
And having him and Tiffany back on that island together is just going to be pure mess. It didn't seem like they left off on a good note at all during this season, and I don't know what their relationship is right now, but I would not be surprised at all if at some point Tiffany tried to get her lick back. Charlie is, the only real thing that I remember about him is all that Taylor Swift stuff. But I also do remember him being a stable and logical player, so I definitely think there's room for him to be able to weasel himself to the end yet again. From season 45, we also have Dee and Emily coming back. Again, Dee is cool, really great dominant player, but I just don't feel the need to see her back because she just won not too long ago, and it would be nice to give other people another chance. But I am super excited for Emily's comeback though, because she had such a transformation during her first season. I can only imagine that she's going to come back for round 2 just being a completely different player. Fans everywhere are also rejoicing to see Queen Genevieve come back from her season, and I am also super glad that she was the pick. During her season, it was like she was hiding in plain sight during the beginning, but then she just burst out of nowhere, just being so cunning and smart. Really, it's the type of game that I would like to play, just maybe a little bit more low-key. My fear, though, is that her reputation may precede her a little bit, with her being so cutthroat and with her season being so recent and maybe still fresh in people's minds, but we'll see if she's able to overcome that. And the last person from this new era who's coming back is Jonathan from season 42, which just felt like a weird and random pick to me. I really only remember him for being big and strong and getting a bunch of immunity wins, but I don't really recall any like good strategic gameplay or anything like that coming from him. Out of everybody in the new era, I guess I'm just the least excited for Jonathan. And if I had to pick a guy from the season to come back, I think I'd rather have Mike Turner or hell, even Zach come back instead. So far that's already 10 people from just the new era alone coming back, but that's not even the end of it because there are 2 more slots open that will be filled by people in season 49. So obviously we're not going to know how these people actually play yet, and nothing has been officially announced as per the time of this recording, but I believe that the rumors and speculation going around is that Rizzo or Rizgod or whatever you want to call that boy and Savannah are going to be the 2 picks from 49. Again, just more controversy because with there being 12 out of 24 people from the new era, it just means that so many players were just overlooked during the process and we might not ever get to see them play again. And to add even more insult to injury, it seems like a lot of these old school players were maybe even led on by production or dropped at the very last minute or kind of strung along to believe they'd be on the show until they got the call. Which on one hand, I get it because of course not everybody's going to be able to get a spot. But on the other hand, given how some players like Jerry have reacted to this whole thing, it just gives that something a little bit shady may have been happening behind the scenes. So continuing to move back into the older seasons, we also have a lot of people from David versus Goliath on this list. So continuing to look back into the older seasons, we also have a lot of people from David versus Goliath on this list. We have Angelina, Christian, and King Mike White returning to the island. So confession time. I have been a Mike White stan for 20 plus years now. School of Rock, which he wrote and starred in, was literally my favorite movie as a kid, and it's not even close. I'm talking, I had it on DVD, so I've seen this movie hundreds of times. It's one of those movies that I can recite every single word to. It's so deep that when they did School of the Rock, the musical on Broadway, I got myself front row seats and was sitting there singing along the entire time. Yes, I was. So following Mike White's reality TV journey through The Amazing Race and Survivor, and then seeing his success on The White Lotus has just been amazing. I am so shocked he's here, like he's literally an Emmy winner just coming to Survivor in his free time. I can't believe he actually said yes, but I am always excited to see Mike. Angelina was also a favorite from this season, and I think she is a total character pick. Like, I don't remember her being a good strategist specifically or anything like that, but I do remember her being funny and entertaining as hell. Same thing with Christian, you know, great character pick, super authentic, super himself, and it really doesn't seem like he's changed much at all over the years. I just remember him always giving us so much in his confessionals and just being like completely enthralled every time he was on the screen. So I'm excited to see him back too. We also have a lot of people who played on Game Changers together in this cast, which were Aubry, Ozzy, and Cirie. So all of these people have played at least 3 times before, so these are like the true OGs. Now, I'm the least familiar with Aubry's game because I haven't seen Co Wrong yet, but I do know that she was a good strategist, and I do know that she made it all the way to the end. I don't really remember her performance being super impressive during Heroes vs. Villains, but I figure there has to be some reason why Q was so afraid of her during his season, right? So I feel like fully counting Aubry out would be a
big mistake.
Ozzy is another person who I feel I mainly remember him for being a challenge beast, but not super strategic or anything like that. I haven't seen every single one of his seasons though, and this is going to be his 5th time playing, which is absolutely wild. Honestly, the fact that he's even on this cast is wild to me, because with Jeff constantly branding Survivor as this family-friendly show and everything, I'm just a little bit surprised that they decided to call Ozzy given his current profession. If you know, you know. And then we have Queen Cirie, aka the best to never win. This is going to be technically her 6th season of Survivor because she just did Survivor AU, and I believe this is going to be her 8th reality show that she's ever played in. She is a natural social player. She is so sweet and charming that you just completely forget how cutthroat she can really be. I mean, just look at the way she was able to completely take over her traitor season with such ease. You know, Cirie is a legend for a reason, but she does have a pretty big weakness, which is her paranoia. I witnessed this firsthand during her Big Brother reign. She's just not always super confident in her decisions, and that will lead her to get paranoid and just start flip-flopping all over the place sometimes. So she's definitely not a perfect player, but still a robbed goddess nonetheless. And I'm going to be a total hypocrite for a moment given the other things I've been saying in this video, but no matter what, no matter how many times she plays, personally, I'm always okay with having Cirie on my TV screen, okay? Her reputation just precedes her so much though that I can't really see her making it all the way to the end, but I'm still gonna have my fingers crossed anyway. Now, in addition to Cirie, there are also a lot of other picks that were on Heroes vs. Villains. People like Colby, Stephenie, and Coach. Now, Coach is definitely the crash out of this whole group, and to be honest, when I first saw him on Token Teens, I hated him. I mean, I could not stand this man. But the more I saw his game, the less I took him seriously. Like, eventually, he just became a big joke to me. And the less I took him seriously, the more tolerable he was. I mainly just remember him from being a big, giant, obnoxious troll on his seasons, and I'm sure that hasn't changed much at all, but you know what? At least he's not going to be boring. That's one thing we'll never get with Coach, is boring. Colby and Stephenie are players who I've only seen on Heroes vs. Villains, so I don't know their original gameplay. Colby was one of those people who was both really physical and pretty strategic, I believe. Let me know if I'm wrong. But he honestly hasn't played in a while, which could really help him out if people aren't really looking at him as that big of a threat out the gate. And Stephenie, girl, I'm sorry, but I barely remember your game if I am being honest. And I know she's played a few times, but maybe being more of an old school player with more of a subtle game could be helpful to her. Who knows? Now let's get into the people who I'm personally not as familiar with, and the first one is Rick Devens. I know that he is a legend in his own right, and I know of him. I just haven't seen Edge of Extinction yet, y'all. I'm sorry. I did hear that he played very, very hard in his season and did come pretty close to winning. So if that is a season that I should check out before 50, let me know in the comments. And next we have Jenna from season 1 and All Stars. Now, I have seen Borneo and I have seen All Stars, but I can't lie, Jenna girl, I don't remember you at all. I'm sorry. Like, I know she made it to the finale and everything, but really I couldn't tell you anything about her because all I remember, just like probably most of you, is Rob and Amber from that season. Which, by the way, I am low-key super glad that they are not on this season because I've personally seen enough Boston Rob for my lifetime, okay? I'm cool. So Jenna is somebody who I am just so unsure about because it has been so long since she's played. It's like damn near a different game than it was originally, so it's just really hard to tell what she's going to do out there. And finally we have Chrissy, which again, I personally have not seen Heroes, Healers, and Hustlers at all, so sorry girl, I don't know anything about your game. I know that she finished in 2nd place though, so she has to be able to make something shake, right? On top of that, her season was far enough ago that people might not be viewing her as a threat right out the gate, so I think she has a decent chance to make it to the merge nonetheless. So that is everyone that we have on our Survivor 50 cast, which obviously leaves a lot of people out of the game. I've seen a lot of discussion on Twitter and social media of people calling for justice for people like Jerry and Abby Maria and Rob Sesternito and Amanda Kimmel and all these other players that I guess were told that they had a highly likelihood of being on the show only to get cut. And while I'm okay with most of the people on this cast, I do still really wish that they would have casted a wider net and grabbed people from just a wider variation of seasons. Because with everybody already knowing each other, I already know that the pre-gaming is going to go crazy and probably steer the first few votes of the season. So with all of that being said, it's pretty much impossible to tell who's going to be able to make it far or who could win. But I really don't think they're going to let someone win a second time. So right off the bat, I just want to go ahead and cross the winners out. And I want to cross out some of the Supreme Legends too, who already have a huge reputation. So players like Cirie and Ozzy. And I also just automatically want to cross out the straight up crash outs because they usually don't do that well on the show. Crash outs don't usually win. So that would be people like Coach and Q. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying it's less likely. Overall, I'm predicting someone who can more subtly sneak into the merge and then be able to pop out and make really big moves after that would be the winner. That means somebody like Genevieve or Tiffany or maybe even Colby if we're going old school. Oh, and Chrissy too. I want to get her in that list. Really, anything can happen, and I may do a full placement ranking video later if that's something y'all are interested in. But for now, I want to know, who are you all excited to see back? Do you have any favorites from this list, or do you have any people that you just wish were not on this cast at all? Let me know in the comments below. With some of the people that they cast, no matter what, it's gonna be mess, and that's really all I'm asking for. I'm asking for active, sometimes aggressive gameplay and entertainment. That's really what I want out of Survivor. Of course, I will see you all for season 49 and then likely season 50 after that. But until then, bye.